I just want to do a short little video comparing airsoft replicas to the real steel counterparts. Here again I have the Springfield Armory 1911A1 and the WE 1911 and the Beretta 92FS and the KJW 92FS. As you can see, like I said earlier in one of my other videos, these guns are nearly identical. The guns have all been safety checked and they're all pointing in a safe direction. Here, I'll get my mini mag out, my old school mini mag, and check that there's no ammunition in any. Lied about that one. There's Airsoft using. There's no ammunition in any of these guns. But what I'm trying to say here is that these guns, are almost identical to the real steel counterparts, and that makes it a great tool to train with. A great cheap tool. The safeties function the same. The slide release functions the same. The trigger obviously functions the same. On the 1911, the grip safety, functions the same. Safety. Grip safety. The only difference on the Beretta is, the safety is a hammer drop on the real steel Beretta, but on the Airsoft Beretta, it's just a safety. It doesn't drop the hammer. But you can get, the real steel hoe grips fit perfectly on my KJW with little to no modification. You can do the same. These are hoe grips on the 1911. You can do the same thing with the WE 1911s, but they require a little bit of modification. I've modified some of those for some friends. But when you get into rifles, you got your AR, and not all ARs. Well, all ARs, they have the pin that unlocks it, but you can get the ICS series of AR or M4s that mimic that with their split gearbox design, or you can go into the high-end Sistema with the changeable pistons, where you actually have to break the weapon apart to replace the piston to increase or decrease your FPS. Which include, it's exactly like taking out the bolt on a real AR. So anyone who is interested in a cheap, effective way to train with a real steel firearm, I would definitely advise you to pick up a medium grade airsoft gun. BBs are, practically free. You get, 3,000 BBs for $10, and like this has a simulated blowback. Actually, I can demonstrate that real quick. Well, here's a 1911 magazine, or an Airsoft 1911 magazine. Now this has no BBs in it, as you can see, but it has gas. So I'll try to trick my gun here to show you guys that airsoft guns have, realistic blowback feature, and it also has a mag or a slide hold open on the last round to propel your gas airsoft guns. They make green. It's called green gas, or they also use an adapter on propane bottles, you know, this is your average, go to Walmart, pick up a propane bottle. You can use an adapter on there to insert to the bottom of the magazine, which will fill up the magazine with gas to cycle the slide and to propel the BB. So not only do airsoft guns look like their real steel counterpart, but you know, they also feel weight-wise. Their loaded weight is extremely similar to the real steel counterpart. So if you're plinking around in, you know, your basement or your backyard, you get that simulation of carrying and holding a real firearm. So not only is the blowback realistic and the looks of it realistic, but it actually feels in your hand just like the real steel counterpart. Like I said in one of my other videos, you know, even though they are extremely similar, this is the Airsoft magazine, there's no gas in it, or there's no gas or BBs. You know, even though they look extremely similar, you know, this magazine will not fit, it will not seat itself into the real steel firearm. It's, the dimensions are just, you know, different. And here's a loaded magazine, but just to show you, you know, this will not fit physically into the airsoft gun. And even if it did, you know, the bullet would never fit into the chamber, because obviously, you know, 9mm is, you know, different than 6mm, so this is not ever going to fit into the airsoft chamber. Not only that, but a real steel bullet requires a firing pin to ignite the primer, and in the airsoft gun, you know, where the let me show you. In an airsoft gun, where the primer would be, there's a hole, and that hole is so that way the gases can escape the magazine to properly propel the BBs. So, you know, you might hear in the media, oh, airsoft guns were confiscated because, you know, they were going to be modified to be a real weapon or whatever. That's not, you know, that's not possible. There's no way that you could ever chamber an airsoft gun to fire a realistic or a real bullet or cartridge. It's just, you know, physically impossible. And even if you were somehow to get this 9mm bullet inside of the chamber of this 6mm airsoft gun, which has a brass barrel, by the way, the gun would literally explode under the pressure that this bullet produces. Another cool thing about airsoft is, since the guns are so close in tolerance, you know, you can use your real steel light or real steel laser on your tack rail on your 1911, or for training purposes, if you want to use your real steel holster. This is a Chinese knockoff of a Blackhawk Serpa. Say you want to use your real steel holster to you know, train with or something, or take onto the field, your airsoft gun easily fits right in there. You don't have to worry about buying extra holsters like, you know, I did for the purpose of not destroying my Blackhawk. But you know, you easily can integrate your airsoft gun into your real steel accessories if that's what you plan to do.